after working on this book. I mean, I think about food and food safety every day. And every time I eat, I think about what's on my fork and what's on my kids' fork. Whenever I write a book, one of my purposes is I set out to change the way people think.
Best-selling author Jeff Benedict has changed the way people think throughout his writing career. But it would be his own thinking that changed when he wrote Poisoned, the true story of an epic food safety disaster that transformed thousands of lives, including Jeff's.
Working on this book and living on a piece of property where my wife was actually starting to grow a lot of the food that we eat, I became convinced and converted that there's no going back. We're going to have mashed potatoes tonight.
Yep.
We live on an old historic 20-acre farm, which my wife has converted to an organic farm. And we grow a lot of what we eat, vegetables, fruits. We have chickens that produce all of our own eggs. There's nothing like getting an egg out of the hen house and coming in the house and an hour later eating it with your toast. That is a very different egg than the one you get at Walmart.
I really was on a mission to grow as much as I possibly could here in my own backyard, and if I couldn't grow it myself, then I would go and look for it locally.
It's nice to know that you've grown it and you've worked hard to get it ready and stuff to eat.
This is a good word. I don't know that it's that hard, but...
As they redesigned their way of life, even education became homegrown on the Benedict farm.
Do they rhyme? Okay, go ahead and circle.
But throughout all these changes, one thing remained the same. Lydia continued to urge Jeff to write a book about food safety.
The more she'd raise issues about food safety and stuff, I was getting more and more intrigued. And finally, after we changed the way we eat, I was persuaded to really look into it. And it seemed to me that the most natural way to get at this would be to take a foodborne illness outbreak and build a story around the outbreak. And so I went looking for outbreaks.
And the outbreak he found was the 1993 Jack in the Box tragedy, a food safety nightmare that caused 5 deaths and poisoned more than 600 people, mostly children. The source, undercooked and contaminated meat.
Hamburgers are a big part of our culture. And all of a sudden, when children started dying because they'd eaten hamburgers, people were going, well, wait a minute, what's going on here? The Jack in the Box outbreak, to me, has had more impact on the direction of food safety and food policy in the United States than anything since the publication of The Jungle. I mean, it was big in every way.
In his book Poisoned, Jeff Benedict tells a heartbreaking true story that reads like a legal and medical thriller.
This is a story, whether you like to watch a physician who's dealing with life and death, a lawyer who, is a little guy taking on a huge corporation, a CEO who's sitting in the hot seat, whose company is getting, beat to death in the public, or a parent. And this is what hits most of us. Or you're just a parent who's got a child who's suddenly in an ER and is fighting for their life, and you can't do anything about it.
As the tragedy unfolds, Poison takes you behind the scenes where you'll meet Bill Marler, a young lawyer who risked everything for his critically ill client, and in his quest for justice, made legal history.
It's the story of an outbreak that shaped food policy in the United States. And it's the story of a man who finds his path, his mission in life, through one of the worst tragedies in the last 20 years.
Poisoned is a story of hope as we follow Brianne Kiner, a little girl in a coma, lingering between life and death for more than 40 days.
It was an amazing turnaround that you could only call a miracle. And the great thing was she had a sign above her bed that said, "Expect a miracle," throughout the time she was in the hospital, and they got one. part of my motivation as I crafted the story was I was trying to write to an audience of parents who have kids like me, because my experience in researching and writing the book was it completely changed my whole outlook on food purchasing and consumption. And I hope that it has an impact on lots of other parents who read this. My kids have gained an appreciation for where food comes from, how hard it is to grow and raise. And when we say grace at night, I think we all look at food differently now than we did 2 years ago. Now, when we say grace as a family, we mean it. And we're grateful for this food on our table. We're grateful to the farmers.